Hello, everybody. I'm Ronimus2099, back with another kind of oldish figure. A figure that you've probably already seen before or seen reviews on if you actually want him, but I was unsure if I wanted him. I'm not a big fan of the 90s X-Men show. It's not ingrained as my brain as many other people have it ingrained in their brain. So, in turn, just kind of seeing this chair, I'm kind of familiar with it, but anyway, if you haven't seen the last video, I'm saying that I'm going to kind of change my style of reviews from kind of the general way, which I used to do, into kind of this new way where I sort of rant about the character and about what they could have done, how the figure should have been improved. I want to create my own style because I love some of the styles that other people do. Optibotimus, his reviews can go from mainly his Marvel reviews talk about the character in depth, origins of them. So I think that's kind of what I want to do in the future. So that's what I'm going to be. Excuse me, I got hiccups. That's what I'm going to be trying today. I tried it with Iceman yesterday. You can see that video later. So now we're trying it with Professor X. So I kind of had to get him because there was no new Professor X. I thought that we would finally see a wheelchair one, because this is after all hover chair, and yeah, I don't know if it's my favorite. I like the idea of a hover chair. I think that's cool, because then he can get upstairs easily, and that's about it. That's the only kind of pro. But it always seemed too clunky and bulky that I was like, he can't really effectively go around the mansion with it. That's why there was only the hover chair in Days of Future Past was so slim and sleek. And like, I kind of didn't appreciate that as much, but obviously seeing that, you're like, that is sleek AF. And honestly, I would just love to see all the figures from Days of Future Past, all those X-Men suits, Storm, Magneto, Wolverine at the end, their suits made into actual action figures. Because honestly, I mean, if Marvel Legends just milks Fox for those kind of figures that they're releasing in October or November, they're honestly doing it wrong. They could make so many figures from that. I don't care if they make Nightcrawler again. I want them to make Beast though. But if they don't make any other characters, like smaller characters, they just make Wolverine, Magneto. You can make like 3 or 4 waves of that. I am really hoping for them to make a nice figure from the Legion show. I love the Legion show. I'm a huge fan of it. If they made one, I'd love that. But, I'll leave that rant to another day. So, yeah, he has this kind of clear part that you can, of course, detach if you're getting him brand new. He is only a couple parts. You split him down the center, you put in a little butt seat, and that seat, and there you go. And it's a pretty decent, hollowed-out wheelchair. When you get it together, it feels a lot heavier than you would assume it is, because if you think about it, all of this is hollow. And it doesn't have that hollow feel, so I'm really liking that. And then the coolest thing for me is those. Love those. Those little control panels, kind of beep boops. And I could imagine this. I don't know what these are for, but I imagine this. I think this one he uses like a telecom for X-Men who are like out on field missions like Beast or Nightcrawler or Storm. And then this, I feel like that would do something to the Danger Room. Kind of looks like those buttons could like be like flames and stuff. I do want to make a Danger Room setup. That would be kind of cool. I know Diamond Select did one, but yeah. And then he comes with this little terrible piece. I'm not a big fan of this. I understand it's the blanket, the paralysis blanket, and of course it makes sense. You can't see it under it. But if you get him in it, there's so many ways that you can do it, because you can do it like kind of riding high or low, or you just can't see it at all. And like if it was an actual blanket or bigger, or even just a part of the sculpt, it could have worked better. And then of course Professor X is just a simple body boy, and I'm fine with this mold being used again. I kind of would have liked to see extra hands, since I don't want to have him always with that hand. I'm fine with, but this one I'm like that's why I'm not loving Cyclops right now, because what is he gonna be doing? Like, who's just gonna use their 2 fingers like Yeah, makes sense. Totally great. That's a little annoying for me. Um, but the face does look nice. They could have included another face, because after all, you are paying a lot for hollow plastic. They could do a lot more with this in terms of hands and stuff. But again, I feel like 2-packs or Ultimate Rider series should come with more than a normal figure. If this was released just like this in a box, you would expect hands, another head, Build-A-Figure part. I'm not saying that they should include a Build-A-Figure part, even though they kind of did. We'll talk about the Shadow King part later. It kind of feels like you could do a little more with him, because if you exclude the hover chair, you would be disappointed with this just being a simple figure coming out. I think, if anything, it should have come with a Legion head. That would have been a great way to sneak in Legion. I'm sorry, I'm going to talk about it again. I love Legion. He's one of my favorite X-Men characters, and we haven't seen any toy version of him. I don't think even Toy Biz made one. So with his chair on the hover stand, I can see how people would get annoyed with that. If he's in front of the X-Men, you want it off, because that way it is under 6 inches, Wolverine is visible behind it, everyone is visible behind it. And getting him in there is simple enough. This is kind of... Anyway, let's talk about the Shadow King head sculpt. So, this is fantastic. Shadow King, if you don't know, is my favorite X-Men villain, Amal Farouk. I absolutely loved him as the villain in the Legion show, and he's a great villain just in general for many series. I think if they brought him back in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and made him a big villain, that would work. And this head sculpt is honestly fantastic. I don't really remember him ever having the fez and the glasses on this kind of shadowy face. He always either had the shadow face without glasses, but it was fully shadow. There was no skin to be seen. I could imagine this kind of being like a nightmare Shadow King face. But I think this, again, like Shadow King in the Legion show at least, whenever he's kind of haunting Legion's nightmares, he's doing it through a big fat guy who doesn't have a suit on. I think him having a suit is more Amal Farouk than it is Shadow King. But I'm absolutely loving this. I think this will be a great accessory, and when that Kingpin standalone card figure comes out, I'm buying 2 of them, and one of them will go on this. I was going to get the Kingpin Build-A-Figure, but at the end of the day, I didn't love everyone in that wave. It was just not worth it. It wasn't worth it. Wasn't worth it. Anyway. So let's bring this in and set Charles down. And we'll bring in some of his X-Men. So, of course, comparing him with 2 of my favorite X-Men, we are comparing him with Wolverine, who is taller in this mode. And that's the first time I've said that about Wolverine. Get it? Because he's short. And then, of course, Deadpool. So, let me zoom out. Yeah, they look pretty freaking nice together. They look pretty good together. But once you put this hover bit in, he needs to be in the back. He is automatically taller than him and Deadpool. So, yeah. But I think he looks great leading the X-Men. Here he is next to the Iceman figure. If you haven't seen that review, you should, because I do. I think I'm really proud of that review. Anyway, so at the end of the day, it is a great Professor X figure. It is exactly what I think I should have gotten. I prefer him in the wheelchair look. I don't like when he has a hover chair. It just feels too strange. It's like you spend all that money on a hover chair. The thing is, like, all you're getting is the ability to go upstairs. I won't. I understand. You're supposed to be the leader of a group of mutants, which don't exist, so maybe him having a hover chair is alright. It just seems... It's not what I like. Not what I like in my Professor X. I prefer normal, nice little Professor doing his weird stuff. Oh, yeah, I forgot to talk about Cerebro. He comes with the Cerebro head and this, stain. But I have to applaud them for what they tried to give a invisible effect, a visible effect. Like Invisible Girl. You always see her with a clear arm. I think that's cool. Anyway. Yeah. I kind of wish that this was pink. This pearlescent white is reminding me of something else, and I don't want to think about that on my display. So I've given it to Deadpool forever. I don't even remember Cerebro not being connected to kind of the whole thing, but I guess in the 90s cartoon, it was not connected. Anyway, I think this figure is a great villain. I'm definitely going to replace him and put him in kind of a cartoonish X-Men display. Once the movie one comes out, that one, when it comes out, I am totally swapping him out. That one is going to lead my X-Men. This one will never. It's only because I prefer Patrick Stewart. But he's great just kind of for my X-Men to be with. And I enjoy him for the most part. I think he's a great fix for problems. I don't have a Professor X, I want a Professor X. What am I gonna do? I'm going to buy a decent one. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I've been Rodimus2099. I will see you guys in the next video where I do something crazy. I'll be showing off some more magnet tape stuff. I got Spider-Man up, and I will do more with that. Anyway, if you haven't already, please subscribe. If you want to go check out my Marvel stop motions, go check them out. A brand new episode of X-Men will be coming out soon after Avengers Last Stand. I still need some voices for that, so of course go to the Taskmaster video to go see the voices. Voiceless, they're in the bottom, along with the casting call video on HBO Max, which you can go see. Check out HBO Max. I mean, I kind of like it now. It's grown on me. Anyway, you can see all those videos on the screen. Now, I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.